The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Are the liquidators in cahoots with the government? A U.S. lawyer is alleging that's the case. The U.S. judge says liquidators should be allowed to access FTX info. We've got the latest on it. Delaware court filings detail the frenzied appeals by the Securities Commission. And Prime Minister Davis defending the Bahamas amid international attacks over FTX. It's all straight ahead. Plus, what's happening with Village Road? We've got an update from one of the engineers all this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, December 15th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. And that discussion about Village Road will continue into Morning Blend business this morning. So stay tuned for that. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a U.S. bankruptcy judge saying that joint provisional liquidators in the Bahamas should be allowed to access FTX's accounts and data. Judge John T. Dorsey's comments coming during a hearing in Delaware, in the Delaware Bankruptcy Court, where FTX's attorney indicated that the company does not trust the Bahamian government. Quote, James Bromley, who was counsel for the debtors, is against the liquidators accessing the records. At the hearing, Dorsey said, quote, I understand that there's a lot of heated debate between the parties here over what's happening. I do believe that there must be some path forward here to resolve the concerns of everybody involved. I think everyone would agree. I'll give you the chance to tell me if I'm wrong, but I think everyone agrees that the joint liquidators are entitled to the data and information that relates to their debtor entity that's in liquidation in the Bahamas. Is there any dispute about that issue? FTX filed for bankruptcy last month after experiencing a liquidity crisis. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas has frozen the company's assets, and provisional liquidators have been appointed by the Bahamian Supreme Court. On Friday, the liquidators filed an emergency motion asking a Delaware bankruptcy judge for access to certain electronic records related to FTX's digital property and financial affairs. But Bromley says the requests are just for information. Speaking to the judge, he said the requests are for dynamic access to live systems, and they believe that it is inappropriate. He says, quote, in terms of static information, we are certainly happy to sit down and talk about that. Dynamic access should not be permitted. Well, the judge asked how the liquidators are going to run their case in the Bahamas without dynamic access, and he asked Bromley if the only way for the access to be provided would be by allowing access to the entire system. Dorsey also questioned if there's any way for dynamic access to be provided to their own information. You can read all about it in today's Nassau Guardian. Meanwhile, the 48 hours leading up to the crash of cryptocurrency exchange FTX entailed the Securities Commission of the Bahamas making frenzied requests for information from former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, alerting the police that an investigation may be warranted and appealing to the courts to gain control of the situation. All as the world watched the collapse of the crypto giant. Documents filed in the Delaware court yesterday disclosed that SCB Executive Director Christina Rolls appealed to the Supreme Court to take FTX Digital Markets into provisional liquidation after Bankman-Fried was not forthcoming with the regulator about the financial state of the company. They also include an email trail between Bankman-Fried and the parties involved. After news broke that Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, was willing to bail out FTX as it faced a multi-billion-dollar liquidity crunch, but then pulled out of the deal, Roll, in her sworn affidavit to the Supreme Court, said she emailed Bankman-Fried and his former compliance officer, Jessica Murray, on November 8th, asking for a meeting to discuss what was being reported in the news. Bankman-Fried apparently responded, quote, "Hey, I'm pretty pressed for time, but we'll make sure we talk to you ASAP. I'll briefly say that as of now, no sale has happened or has been finalized, although there are active talks. We'll keep you updated about those." The next day, November 9th, Rolls said she followed up by sending another email asking critical questions about the financial state of client assets at FTX. Rolls said no one replied to her email. And Acting Commissioner of Corrections at Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, Don Clare, saying Bankman-Fried is in, quote, good spirits after spending his first night at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson-Pratt denied bail for Bankman-Fried, describing him as a flight risk and remanding him to the prison until February 8th of next year. He's scheduled to appear before Magistrate Shaka Serville at that time, while BDOCS has been described both locally and internationally as harsh and overcrowded and rat-infested. Claire says Bankman-Fried is being housed in the prison's infirmary. He says he's getting medication on time and only in-person lawyer visits are permitted at this time, along with personnel from the U.S. Embassy. And he says all others will be video conferencing in, and he's with 5 other inmates in a dorm-style setting. And amid the ongoing fallout of the collapse of FTX, Prime Minister Philip Davis says that it is, quote, mind-boggling that people are arguing that the Bahamas does not have a well-regulated industry for digital assets. He told Eyewitness News that, quote, we do have regulations in place and they are being effectively carried out. That's why we're able to do what we have done. At the end of the day, it's having an understanding about what our regulatory regime is all about. Overseas, U.S. President Joe Biden telling dozens of African leaders gathered in Washington that the United States is, quote, all in on Africa's future. He laid out billions in promised government funding and private investment to help growing the continent in health, infrastructure, business, and technology. Biden telling the leaders and others at the big conference hall on Wednesday, quote, the U.S. is committed to supporting every aspect of Africa's growth. Biden, who's pitching the U.S. as a reliable partner to promote democratic elections and push critical health and energy growth, telling the crowd that $55 billion in committed investments over the next 3 years was just the beginning. That announcement was initially made on Monday. He announced more than $15 billion in private trade and investment commitments and partnerships. The president, after his speech, spent some time with leaders, including the Moroccan prime minister, and they watched the Morocco's World Cup match with France. Although Morocco lost, it made history, becoming the first African team to advance to the tournament's semifinal round. The United States has fallen well behind China in investment in sub-Saharan Africa, which has become a key battleground and an increasingly fraught competition between the major powers. The White House insists this week's gathering is more a listening session with African leaders than an effort to counter Beijing's influence. The president's central foreign policy tenet looms overall that America is in an era-defining battle to prove democracies can out-deliver autocracies. In sports, Team Bahamas wrapping up the second day of competition at the 16th FINA World Swimming Federation Short Course Championships, currently going on in Melbourne, Australia. All four Bahamian swimmers were in action yesterday, with two swimmers being featured in individual races. Lamar Taylor was in action in the men's 100 meters freestyle, swimming out of lane 4 in the fifth heat. Taylor posted a time of 47.76 seconds to win his heat. However, in the grand scheme of things, he did not qualify for the semifinals, as he finished with the 36th fastest time overall. His winning time was faster than his entry time of 50.25 seconds and marked a personal best time for him. Clocking the fastest time in the heats was Cayman Islands' Jordan Crooks, who posted a time of 45.61 seconds. The other swimmer to compete in an individual race was Victoria Russell, who was in the 100-meter breaststroke. She swam out of lane 5 in heat 2 and won her heat when she touched the wall in 1:11.56. The 22-year-old placed 40th overall with that time. She improved on her entry time of 1:14.97. Read more about how Team Bahamas is doing in today's Guardian Sports section. As we told you, France beat Morocco and will advance to the World Cup final. It beat Morocco 2-0 yesterday. Kylian Mbappe versus Lionel Messi, soccer's latest superstar, against perhaps the sport's greatest player in the World Cup final just about everyone was hoping for. France and Mbappe are headed back to the biggest game of soccer and to a much-anticipated matchup with Argentina after ending Morocco's historic run at the World Cup on Wednesday. In front of the country's president, Emmanuel Macron, France beat Africa's first-ever semifinalist 2-0 with Mbappe playing a part in goals by Theo Hernandez in the 5th minute and substitute Randall Kolo Muani in the 79th. Mbappe became a global phenomenon by leading France to the title in Russia in 2018 and has a chance to emulate Brazil's great Pelé as a champion in his first 2 World Cups when he comes up against the 35-year-old Messi, who has dominated the game with Cristiano Ronaldo for the past 15 years. France looking to become the first team to retain the title since Brazil did it in 1962, and Argentina is on a mission to win soccer's ultimate prize for the 3rd time in what is likely to be Messi's last World Cup. That's going to be on Sunday. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got high pressure across the islands that's going to maintain pleasant but warm conditions today. Meanwhile, a persistent northeast swell will continue to impact the Atlantic exposed waters. Special warnings, though, hazardous beaching and boating conditions will continue due to long-period northeast to easterly swells, and boaters are urged to exercise extreme caution. Beachgoers and swimmers are strongly discouraged from entering the water. For all areas today, we're looking at partly sunny and warm conditions with a spotty shower or 2 possible, becoming mainly fair and mild tonight. We've got a small craft advisory in effect due to ocean swells. Winds southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots and gusty at times in the northwest Bahamas. East to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the central and southeastern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet north shore and in sheltered areas, but building up to 7 feet along Atlantic exposures in northeast to easterly swells. Temperatures today, right now, we are at 73 degrees under fair skies in Nassau. We're looking at highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. Will temperatures get cool before Christmas? We've got some information on some cold fronts. We'll tell you about that in your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. This first weather check brought to you by BWF. BWF pre-Christmas blowout sale and tent sale almost here, up to 50% off Friday, tomorrow, December 16th, and Saturday, December 17th. Huge savings on toys, Christmas supplies, junk and new, craft, kitchen, and outdoor cooking supplies and appliances, and a whole lot more. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street. Call them 394-0004 or 6 BWF.
Wake up, it's a new day.
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
The end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Join Journey Rewards for free, and every purchase is another chance to win big monthly prizes like a cruise for two, plane tickets, free fuel, and so much more. Just scan, win, repeat. Fuel up or grab a snack or a drink at any Esso service station. Then scan the QR code to enter your purchase information. That's it. The more you enter, the more you can win. And win, and win again. Journey Rewards. Scan, win, repeat. Free to join and easy to enter. Stop by an Esso service station and start winning today. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Enjoy great savings this holiday on your favorite water, Aquapure. Now until December 31st, take advantage of Aquapure's Christmas coupon special. Purchase a book of 10 5-gallon coupons for just $35 plus VAT, regularly $42.50 plus VAT. And best of all, these coupons never expire. Be sure to take advantage of this great offer. Aquapure's Christmas coupon special going on now. Call 394-7873 or order online at aquapure242.com.
Fidelity, we're good for you. I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the most rewarding time of the year. To RBC, get a loan to buy whatever. RBC makes it better. Get a loan and don't pay till New Year.
Make Christmas what you want it to be with a personal loan from RBC. Apply at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay till February 2023. Conditions apply.
Get a loan and don't pay till New Year. To RBC.
This Christmas, Wendy's and Coca-Cola are back with $25,000 in cash.
Hook me up, hook me up.
Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a large or purchase a large salad and a Coke product and enter to win the grand prize of $10,000. Upgrade your combo, answer the skill question, and fill out your receipt. Then upload it at Wendy's Bahamas Facebook page or into the Dropbox provided. Upgrade and win big this holiday with Wendy's and Coke. Rules and restrictions apply.
Okay, class, let's begin today's history lesson. Ancient civilization used to visit stadiums to watch musicians perform. It was called a live concert.
Teacher, what year was that?
Researchers believe it was around 2019. Normal life feels like a long time ago. As things return to normal, remember it is essential to be fully immunized against all vaccine-preventable diseases like COVID-19, rubella, polio, hepatitis, mumps, and influenza. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of Canada, and the United States of America.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Enjoy great savings this holiday on your favorite water, Aquapure. Now until December 31st, take advantage of Aquapure's Christmas coupon special. Purchase a book of 10 5-gallon coupons for just $35 plus VAT, regularly $42.50 plus VAT. And best of all, these coupons never expire. Be sure to take advantage of this great offer, Aquapure's Christmas coupon special, going on now. Call 394-7873 or order online at aquapure242.com.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend at 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Great to have you with us as always.
It's great to be here.
A lot to talk about this morning. There's a lot going on with SBF and all of this madness here, and we're going to get into all of that this morning. But also, people want to know about what's happening here with Village Road, and we're going to get an update on that from one of the engineers this morning. So that's coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. It's going to lead into our 9 o'clock hour. All right. So let's begin with, we need some special theme music for SBF and FTX and FTT and all that stuff.
I don't think so.
You don't think
get
so?
Special music.
No, I mean, like, nothing happy. It's just like, like when you hear that.
Nothing.
No?
No get nada.
No, it's going to be terrible. Like, it's going to be like Darth Vader's music or something. Like whenever we talk about it, when you hear that, that means they're talking about
Yeah,
FTX.
but that would mean that we actually made an effort to go and look for something for music for them.
Well,
no music for them.
Every day we're talking about it, so the effort is there. But I hear you.
It's the news. It's the news.
Yeah. But it's getting like a crazy movie. And when they do the movie, when the Netflix movie or whatever it is comes out, it's going to be wild. And,
you know it.
And it's going to be shocking, even though it's already shocking to us now, including what we're hearing, what we're going to talk about today. Let's begin with it, though, with what's in the news. Okay, so in the news, where do we begin? It's a lot happening, as we said. So do you want to hear about how SBF is doing in prison and how that's going first? or do you want to hear about what the liquidators are saying and how they are very concerned? They're concerned, but also the lawyer in the U.S. is concerned about the liquidators and their role and who's too cozy with whom and whatever. And again, as we said, what the liquidators and also what the Securities Commission of the Bahamas is saying, and what the court filings are revealing about what was happening with SCB and SBF before the bankruptcy. Which one you want first?
Let's go with door number 2.
Which one is that?
Let's talk about why they're concerned. Is this in some way impeding their investigation?
Well, it's doing a lot. Okay, so that's the big headline in the
Let's
National
talk
Guardian.
about that.
Okay.
Let's not talk about number 1 because we all know that he's fine. It's not like he's in general population. So, yeah.
Well, he's with 5 people in a dorm-like setting. That must be
in general population, Dwight.
Well, a bunch of sick.
He's not in general population, and I knew he wouldn't be in general population.
Well, they said that he, because of his depression. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not disputing that. I never dispute. Hey, mental health, very serious. Not going to dispute that, but I just knew that he would not have been in general population. So let's not talk about it.
Right. We got to talk about it, but we'll get to it in a second.
Let's go to the interesting one.
Okay. Well, I think it's all fascinating. But anyway, all right. So the big story in the National Guardian, lawyer, this is the U.S. lawyer now, the liquidators in cahoots with the government.
He has proof?
Listen to this story from our Paige McCartney.
Before his arrest last night, Bankman-Fried was scheduled to testify before the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Financial Services today. That hearing into the collapse of FTX still went on as planned, with new FTX CEO John Ray testifying under oath. He said Sam Bankman-Fried and other executives were grossly inexperienced and unsophisticated individuals who failed to implement virtually any of the systems or controls that are necessary for a company that is entrusted with other people's money or assets.
Some of the unacceptable management practices have identified.
Meanwhile, the court battle between FTX's Bahamas Joint Provisional Liquidators and its U.S. attorneys continued today. A U.S. bankruptcy judge this morning said FTX Bahamas' Joint Provisional Liquidators should be allowed access to FTX U.S. unit accounts and data. Last week, the liquidators filed an emergency motion asking that judge for access to certain electronic records related to FTX Digital's property and financial affairs, saying they were being frustrated in conducting their own affairs by the lack of access to that critical information, which has been in the control of U.S. debtors and protected by the automatic stay under the Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing that was lodged last month in Delaware. Judge John Dorsey said liquidators are entitled to their own information to conduct their own investigations.
It seems to me, I understand that there's a lot of heated debate between the parties here over what's happening, but I do believe that there must be some path forward here to resolve the concerns of everybody involved. I think everyone would agree. Mr. Bromley, I'll give you the chance to tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but I think everyone agrees that the joint liquidators are entitled to the data and information that relates to their debtor entity that's in liquidation in the Bahamas.
Well, FTX attorney James Bromley contested what he called dynamic access to that data, citing his distrust of the Securities Commission of the Bahamas.
I think there's a way, Your Honor, at this point, right, to provide static information. And we're happy to sit down and have a meet and confer about how that static information might be able to be provided. The concern we have with respect to dynamic access to live systems is that we believe that any dynamic access will be provided immediately to the government of the Bahamas and in particularly the Securities Commission. And to date, any access that the Securities Commission has had to our systems has led to the relief from the debtors of digital assets. And we do not believe that that should be permitted. And we do not believe that there is a separation between the JPLs and the Securities Commission at this point in time. Certainly no separation that provides the debtors with comfort that whatever is provided to the JPLs will not be provided immediately to the Securities Commission.
With that, the judge asked Chris Stone, who's the attorney representing the Joint Provisional Liquidators, about their relationship with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas.
The JPLs are a court-created trustee liquidating FTX Digital. Well, is there any, let me just get to my point. Is there any use in my ordering the parties to mediate this issue, or at least sit down and talk to each other about this issue? Or are we to the point where I'm going to have a full evidentiary hearing on these issues and make a decision? I'd like to think that the parties can work it out. The one situation we can't be held into or put into is having that meet and confer, having the debtors raise these sort of issues and essentially set the bar as being the JPLs must prove that there was no collusion between the commission and SBF before they can get dynamic access to the information, and then have everybody disappear for the holidays. So essentially we get timed out. So if what is going to happen here, which is what I was going to propose.
All right, our Paige McCartney with that report there. That's some serious accusations there, and it's looking again this part here from the lawyer there, Bromley. To date, any access that the Securities Commission has had to our system has led to the relief debtors of digital access. And we do not believe that that should be permitted. And we do not believe that there is a separation between the JPLs, the Joint Provisional Liquidators, and the Securities Commission at this point in time. There's certainly no separation that provides the debtors comfort that whatever is provided to the JPLs will not be provided immediately to the Securities Commission. Boy. Okay. Interesting stuff there. Now, we can get your reaction to that before we move on to what the Securities Commission is saying. Is interesting because it's not really saying it. But we are seeing what they were doing before the fans started to get messy, and what's been happening with them and what was going on between them and SBF. There's a lot of letters. It's going to be, you got to talk slowly with this. But so let's hear what you have to say about what the lawyers in the states are saying. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Now, I don't know if this headline is the right way to put this, to say the liquidators are in cahoots with the government, but and cahoots is an interesting word, but also the Securities Commission does function as an independent body. So government, it's an arm, but not, part, right? You get that? But anyway, liquidators and the Securities Commission in cahoots is the accusation. Again, so let's get your reaction. Again, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Okay, let's get your reaction. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
I think the lawyers and Mr. Ray, who are now in charge of American companies, I think their whole game plan is just to try to study the whole matters that can be fought and to try and make the Bahamas look like a backward country. It's the judge. I think the judges in Delaware, they have dealt with bankruptcies, liquidations in the Bahamas before, because Bahamas is a good example. And I think the same thing that Bahamas had to do. I haven't seen the people from FTX in the United States done it. Ask our court to recognize their bankruptcy proceedings. because even if they go through the motion and the court rule in their favor for possessions within the Bahamas, assets within the Bahamas, they still have to go through our courts to get possession of those assets. Correct?
It seems so. I would assume that.
Because we have a sovereign jurisdiction, and despite the fact with the lawyers something, the courts in the United States recognize our sovereign jurisdiction as far as legal-wise. So even though the lawyer putting up all the smoke and mirrors, but he don't trust the government, he wouldn't even try to find out how our system works, rather than just spouting off. He could contact the U.S. Embassy or whatever, and they could tell him how the Bahamas judicial system works.
I mean, what does that? I don't see why he would need to. I mean, this is what he's feeling. He's saying that.
No, but see, feelings, right? Feelings.
Yeah, no, but that's all that matters there. That's all that matters.
I mean, you can say that, right? But you notice what the judge is saying, right? The judge is skeptical about what they're saying, because the judge knows that we have a sovereign jurisdiction here in the Bahamas. We have a judicial system here in the Bahamas. Okay, but he recognizing, it's showing that he recognizing the liquidation here in the Bahamas for the Bahamian companies. He's showing that he recognized our liquidation process in the Bahamas. Because if he didn't, he would have come right out from the jump street and say, the liquidation process in the Bahamas, that ain't nothing. So he shows that he recognized that the liquidation process in the Bahamas is a legitimate situation, lawful situation. But FTX, Mr. Ray, even when he was in Congress, his whole idea is to try sully the name of the Bahamas because he wanted to be in charge of everything.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Let's take another call. Okay. Let's get some of your messages in, and then we'll get to what we're finding out about what the Securities Commission, what they have been going through. All right, so we got this message here. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas is not independent, Dwight. The government appoints the director of the SCB and the board. There is no independence. Ray and his team are indirectly attacking the government. I hear you. Well, that means absolutely nothing's independent here, right? So, yeah. Laverne, your mic, you good? What's going? Yep.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just listening. I'm good.
All right. This message here. What else will we find out through these U.S. court filings? Which Bahamian officials will be named? I suspect someone will. I don't believe that that call to come to us before we come to you by the U.S. prosecutor was said on air. What now? Try to make the Bahamas look like a backwoods country where the government interferes in decisions in all aspects of life and at all levels. Each of us must have been living in another country for the past 50 years if they have to try to do that. Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Let's get there we go. Good morning.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, doing well.
Okay, listen. Your first caller, I have a lot of respect for that caller. He's a very intelligent person, but sometimes some of your callers just make me wonder. We need to be nationalists. We need to stop this FNM and PLC seemingly foolishness. Let me tell you something. If you don't bend down, ain't nobody could be able to jump on your back and ride you, right? You can't bend down. Christy say that. Don't bend down or they could jump on your back and ride you. The Bahamas does
If
not.
they're very tall, they wouldn't have to wait for you to bend down.
Listen, the Bahamas does
let's
not.
refocus.
No, but that's important, right? Depending on how big, it could be a
Dwight,
draft.
stop,
They won't have to
stop.
do much. So
Go on with your point.
that's why you have to not be in a position where they could do that. But anyway, go on. Yes.
Dwight, listen to me. The Bahamas, over the years, does not have the best reputation when it comes to certain things. We do not. And that's the first thing we need to do, look in the mirror and identify what our problem is, and then we fix it. And stop this. They trying to make us look bad. They trying to do that. We're making ourselves look bad because we bending down and we doing a lot of foolishness. You understand me? I trust that those Americans over there, even if they trying to do that, we allowed it to happen to ourselves. So what we need to do is take a look at the man in the mirror, and we need to change our way. Thanks for taking my call, Dwight.
Okay, all right. So let's get to this part about the Securities Commission. They've been, right, all kinds of things being said about them. This is quite interesting. So Delaware court filings detail the frenzied appeals by the SCB, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Executive Director wrote the commissioner requesting a police probe of X as well. All right, so our Paige McCartney again writing about this. The 48 hours leading up to the crash of cryptocurrency exchange FTX detailed the Securities Commission of the Bahamas making frenzied requests for information from former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, alerting the police that an investigation may be warranted and appealing to the courts to gain control of the situation, all as the world watched the collapse of the crypto giant. Documents filed in the Delaware court yesterday disclosing that SCB Executive Director Christina Roll made an appeal to the Supreme Court to take FTX Digital Markets into provisional liquidation after Bankman-Fried was not forthcoming with the regulator about the financial state of his company. They also include an email trail between Bankman-Fried and the parties involved. After news broke that Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, was willing to bail out FTX as it faced a multi-billion-dollar liquidity crunch, but then pulled out of the deal, Roll, in her sworn affidavit to the Supreme Court, says she emailed Bankman-Fried and his former compliance officer, Jessica, on November 8th, asking for a meeting to discuss what was being reported in the news. Bankman-Fried responded, quote, "Hey, I'm pretty pressed for time, but we'll make sure we talk to you ASAP. I'll briefly say that, as of now, no sale has happened or has been finalized, although there are active talks. We'll keep you updated about those." Hey, I'm pretty pressed for time. Oh, well. The next day, November 9th, Roll said that this is an email. That's an email. You said that in an email. Hey, H-E-Y, I'm pretty pressed. Okay. The next day, November 9th, Roll said she followed up by sending another email asking critical questions about the financial state of client assets at FTX. Roll said no one replied to her email. That same day, Bankman-Fried sent an email to Attorney General Ryan Pinder, who was also emailing Bankman-Fried for answers, stating that he had not briefed. He's stating that he had not briefed the SCB, the Securities Commission, but would be willing to give Pinder, the Prime Minister, and the overview of the situation over the next few days. In the email, Bankman-Fried said, quote, "As part of this, we have segregated funds for all Bahamian customers on FTX. And we would be more than happy to open up withdrawals for all Bahamian customers on FTX so that they can tomorrow fully withdraw all of their assets, making them fully whole. It's your call on whether you want us to do this. But we are more than happy to, and would consider it at the very least our duty to the country, and can open it up immediately if you reply saying you want us to." Oh my God. If we don't hear back from you, we're going to go ahead and do it tomorrow. Bankman-Fried has told media outlets that no one ever responded to that email. Following that, and on the same day, Roll wrote Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander requesting a police investigation of FTX Digital Markets. Roll said that she was informed by Ryan Salome, director of FTX Digital, that clients' assets, which may have been held by FTX Digital, were transferred to FTX's sister company, cryptocurrency trading firm Alameda Research. She said, quote, "The commission understood Mr. Salome as advising that the transfer of clients' assets in this manner was contrary to the normal corporate governance and operations of FTX Digital. Put simply, that such transfers were not allowed and therefore may constitute misappropriation, theft, fraud, or some other crime." The following day, November 10th, the SCB went to the court, froze FTX's assets, and placed the company into provisional liquidation. Roll, saying in her affidavit, quote, "In the circumstances, I hereby confirm that the Commission has determined that it is in the interest of FTX Digital's investors and clients and the reputation of the Commonwealth's finance industry generally for a provisional liquidator to be appointed immediately to safeguard FTX Digital's assets until further order of the court. The document was filed yesterday as part of the provision's reply in support to a motion for entry of an order shortening the notice and objection periods with respect to the emergency motion filed last week for relief from automatic stay and to compel the turnover of electronic records of FTX Digital. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's quite a story there. And there's more in the letter to the police. In that November 9th letter to Clayton Fernandez, the police commissioner, Roll advised that FTX Digital chairman Ryan Salome had informed the commission that clients' assets held by the company were transferred to Alameda Research and called on police to investigate FTX Digital. Alameda Research is the cryptocurrency trading firm owned by Sam Bankman-Fried. Roll's letter to Fernandez is contained in court documents filed by the court-appointed joint provisional liquidators yesterday. The letter was sent the day before the commission froze FTX's assets and the provisional liquidators were appointed by the Supreme Court of the Bahamas. Roll wrote, quote, "These may be aware of the reports in both the international and local media which directly relate to and impact FTX Digital, including the possible mishandling of clients' assets. Regrettably, the commission was informed today by Mr. Ryan Salome, who is the chairman of FTX Digital, that clients' assets, which may have been held with FTX Digital, were transferred to Alameda Research. Alameda and FTX Digital are related companies. Specifically, Mr. Samuel Bankman-Fried is a founder of both FTX Digital and Alameda. The commission understood Mr. Salome as advising that the transfer of clients' assets in this manner was contrary to the normal corporate governance and operations of FTX Digital. Put simply, that such transfers were not allowed and therefore may constitute misappropriation, theft, fraud, or some other crime. Roll said Salome advised the commission that only 3 people had the necessary passwords to transfer clients' assets to Alameda: Bankman-Fried, Nishad Singh, and Gary Wang. Roll wrote, quote, "Given this possible unlawful activity associated with the same, we wish for the Royal Bahamas Police Force to investigate this matter on an urgent basis. Based on the Commission's knowledge, Mr. Bankman-Fried, Mr. Nishad Singh, and Mr. Gary Wang are presently on the island of New Providence and all normally reside at Albany. Mr. Salome is not in the jurisdiction and is reportedly in Washington, D.C. at present." This is all what Roll wrote to the commissioner. Now, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, who's known as CZ, who heads the world's largest crypto exchange, tweeted last month that he was pulling out of FTX due to recent revelations that came to light, and questions began circulating in early November over whether FTX improperly used customer funds to prop up Alameda Research. All right. Wow. All right. So this is a lot. Let's get your reaction to it all. And 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Text us 422-4796. Let's take some calls before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Thank you, Laverne, for steering Dwight in this proper direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Thank you. According to Ray, Mr. Ray, FTX, because FTX Bahamas, FTX US, FTX, who knows how many planets there are, FTX. But the Bahamian-based accounts were unfrozen ahead of him filing this Chapter 11, right? And then over 100 million was released to 1,500 customers. So he has had a pattern of freezing, unfreezing, releasing. Who are these people? Is he going to have to call the names of these customers who he were allowing to, take money from FTX or whatever X is left? Would he have to call these 1,500 customers' name at any point in time, you think, in the future? That's my question.
I don't know. He may be required to say who
I'm
got money
he's gonna
to.
have to.
Yeah, who got the money before things were frozen.
Yeah, eventually he's gonna have to, because that's something that should not have happened. I mean, and when you look at it, he was determined to do it anyway, whether the commission or our government agreed, because he said in his email, all right, if you let me know now, and I think that email was at 2 a.m. or whatever. If you say to do it, I'll do it immediately. But even if I don't hear from you, I'm going to do it by tomorrow.
Perhaps somebody should have said, no, stop, just stop. We will respond to you tomorrow.
Dwight, maybe nobody checked their email at 2 a.m. I don't know. Maybe they didn't check it until 8. And by then he'd already done what he said he was going to do in any event. And then also, I just feel like you're going through all of this and the regulatory board is reaching out to you with questions, but it's inconvenient. You're busy, so you don't have time to answer them. I would think that you would want to make the time to answer them.
Hey, I'm pretty pressed for time.
I just say, I'm not even going to get into the opening. Hey.
I mean, yo, what's up? I can't talk right now. Oh, okay, all right. This is insane. So, some interesting things going on behind the scenes with the SCB. Perhaps that's why they weren't talking to us much, because they were trying to deal with all of this nonsense. But let's get to some of your messages. We got to take a break. This person says that, Dwight, do not overlook the fact that this is the regulator asking Sam for info and Sam telling the regulator, I don't have time for you right now. Right. Hey, wow. I believe this response characterizes the relationship between the two entities since inception. Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. This is just who he was, and people were accepting of it because, again, he's a young, rich genius, and people were like, well, that's just how he is. But this is, and that's the problem. If you let people for who they are, if it doesn't fit in with what you aim to do.
So, do you think that if he looked different, we would be, or people would have been as accepting of the way that he carried himself?
You mean if he looked like everybody else? If he dressed in a suit?
Like you are, no. If he looked like you or me.
See, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But if he dressed in a suit and wore shoes like everybody else, would they have been willing to?
No, I don't mean that.
No,
I don't mean that. You don't want to touch that.
I don't want to touch that. But the texter goes on to say, you're in a very interesting mood today, Mrs. Laverne Gardner. I know what's going on with you. I don't know. Christmas is coming, clearly. You are feisty. Anyway, this one says, why was Ms. Roll at the groundbreaking for FTX with shovel in hand? Why was the SCB acting like a PR firm for FTX? Were they? Very non-draft-like. Oh, boy. There we go. It is impossible for a regulator not to notice for an entire year that billions in client cash was moved to Alameda. You sure? Without a single client order. The only way this could happen is if nobody was regulating. That's my point. The regulator did not act like the draft. I don't know about that part. I'm not too sure about that part. Would they know? Would they really have that much access? I'm not too sure. But when they do notice stuff and ask, you can't respond, hey, ask for time right now. That's not appropriate. Come out, we'll pick this up on the other side and get to your calls. Callers, just give us a sec. We'll come to you. And there's a lot more to talk about. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Season, stream with faster speeds. The unforgettable seed. Share every memory. Link up for Christmas. Link up with BTC. We are family.
BTC will make this festive season fun and fast with BTC's fiber internet. Sign up and BTC will give you 1 month free or go postpaid and get unlimited Facebook and WhatsApp.
Link up for Christmas. Link up with BTC.
Power on the holidays this computers. We have everything that everyone wants to see under the tree. Laptops, iPads, AirPods, Apple Watches, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Find gifts this Christmas season at Custom Computers. Visit us on Patton Street in Palmdale, opposite Liquid Courage, or in Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance. The best Christmas has to offer is right here at your one-stop shop, Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And it's time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Make this Christmas whatever you want it to be with an RBC personal loan in your real-time traffic. At this hour, we are seeing heavy traffic as usual in a number of hot spots like Milo Butler Highway. From just north of the Fire Trail roundabout, you'll be seeing that traffic in front of you on the way to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, but it's not extending to the roundabout of Fire Trail or even south of it, so that's a good sign at this hour. And Gladstone Road, similar situation. The traffic is a little bit north of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes as you head to JFK Drive. Blue Hill is busy, though, from about Carmichael straight up to Independence Drive, especially north of Soldier Road in the northbound lanes. And Independence Drive is already backed up both directions, west and eastbound, especially eastbound this morning to the roundabout with East Street. East Street seeing heavy traffic near the approach to the intersection with Soldier Road and north of Soldier Road on the way to that roundabout with Independence Drive and East-West Highway. Along Prince Charles Drive, especially near Elizabeth Estates and Fox Hill Road, the intersection there, and near Beatrice Avenue. And then Robbins Road is busy from Soldier to about Old Trail, westbound this morning. Soldier's busy for you north of that intersection on the way to the intersection with Wolf, Bernard, and Village. Heavy traffic on Soldier this morning, northbound. Eastern Road also busy just west of Fox Hill Road all the way up to Village and heavy traffic there. Keep that in mind. You might want to avoid that area if you can. Bernard Road looking like a better alternate route for you, and maybe even Prince Charles Drive. Carmichael westbound is busy on the way to Coral Harbor Road, and we're seeing some building traffic. It's not unmanageable, but it's building near Saunders Beach on West Bay Street eastbound to the roundabout with New Providence Highway. That's what we're looking at so far. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Apply for a loan with RBC at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't 2023. And time for another check of your weather for Dubai. Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got high pressure across the islands that will maintain pleasant but warm conditions today. Meanwhile, a persistent northeast swell will continue to impact Atlantic-exposed waters. So for today, we've got a number of warnings. Hazardous beaching and boating conditions will continue due to the long period northeast to easterly swells. Should exercise extreme caution. Beachgoers and swimmers being advised to stay out of the water. For all areas today, look for partly sunny and warm conditions with a spotty shower or two possible, becoming mainly fair and mild tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. Temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure across the country will shift eastwards, allowing for a cold front to push into the northern Bahamas tomorrow, Friday, generating some cloudy skies and scattered showers. That front's going to stall through Saturday with another reinforcing front expected in the Bahamas on Sunday. So, for tomorrow, Friday, partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and possible thunderstorms across the northwestern islands, partly sunny and warm across the central and southeast Bahamas. And Saturday, variably cloudy with a few scattered showers. Small craft advisories will remain in effect for Atlantic exposed to shorelines due to ocean swells for both Friday and Saturday into the weekend. Weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams Paints wants to make your holiday a splash jollier. November 21st through December 23rd, come deck your walls with color by stopping into either the Tawny Williams Darling Highway or Prince Charles Drive location and take advantage of their Christmas sale of up to 20% off. And when you spend $100 or more, you enter to win prizes like hotel stays, boat excursions, interior designer consultations, and more. So stop on in to win. Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, find color in every day.
It's that time of year again, and Colombian Emeralds International wants to show our appreciation to you, our valuable customers, with our annual customer 50% plus an additional 15% off on Monday, December the 19th and Tuesday the 20th from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. at the Rawson Square Bay Street location. There'll be prizes and surprises every hour, so come and celebrate this holiday season with some sparkle and give the gift of memories that will last a lifetime with Colombian Emeralds.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Day of Christmas, my true love's into me. Our costume do rush on this street. On the second day of Christmas, my
We are back here with Morning Blood on Guardian Radio 96.9. Quite strong, along with Laverne Gardner. Let's get through your text messages before we go to the news. Quite a few of these here. Oh boy. This person says the SBF was busy that day negotiating with Binance. Too busy to talk to the regulators, eh? Okay. Another one here. Regulators select a sample of accounts for review along with support documents for a select list of transactions. If an account had $50 million in cash movements, regulator wants to see the client submitted orders requesting $50 million in trades. I'd find it statistically impossible for a regulator to randomly select FTX accounts that exhibited none of the now known highly unusual activity. I'd really like to hear exactly what their oversight entailed. Oh boy. Okay. This one says here, all the regulators were compromised. What? This is why he was only asked and never pressured or forced to answer questions. Seems like every time the PLP is in power, the Bahamas always gets a black eye. Well, we get black eyes every year, no matter who's in power. Every year. This one says here, SBF is the Bahamas' ultimate Grinch. We used to be in full-fledged Junkanoo mode, but this FTX slave for only God knows how long. Lord help us. Okay. This one says here, I look at this FTX saga and this situation that the regulator says that they didn't have much data on FTX. That's why I feel that he had the time to withdraw the money before the commission caught up with him. Well, he says he asked. But, This one says here, Laverne, I'm totally with you. Bahamians have too often given undeserved deference to white people, oh my gosh, who are charged with crimes in this country. The regulators should have sent the police to his location to bring him in to answer questions. Well, that part is interesting. Okay. We'll get to the rest of this after the break. This is Morning Blend, and we will find out how SBF is doing, Laverne. Coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. And now at 8:21, time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got high pressure across the country. That's going to maintain pleasant but warm conditions today. Meanwhile, persistent northeast exposed waters throughout the country. We've got a number of warnings for beachgoers and boaters. Hazardous beaching and boating conditions will continue due to the long period northeast to easterly swells, and boaters are urged to exercise caution, and beachgoers and swimmers strongly advised to stay out of the water. For all areas today, look for partly sunny and warm conditions, with a spotty shower or two possible, becoming mainly fair and mild tonight. Smallcraft advisory remains in effect due to ocean swells. Temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. High pressure across the country will shift eastwards, though, allowing for a cold front to push into the northern Bahamas by tomorrow, generating some cloudy skies and scattered showers. That front's going to stall on Saturday, but another reinforcing cold front is expected on Sunday. So, for Friday, tomorrow, partly cloudy with a few scattered showers and possible thunderstorms across the northwest Bahamas mainly, partly sunny and warm across the central and southeastern islands. A few scattered showers across the islands. Smallcraft advisories will remain in effect for Atlantic exposed shorelines for the weekend due to ocean swells. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And today, 24, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Make this Christmas whatever you want it to be with an RBC personal loan. In your real-time traffic at this hour, we are seeing the heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway, just north of Fire Trail, in the northbound lanes to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. But again, not looking as bad as it normally does at this hour on Milo Butler Highway. Not anywhere near Fire Trail quite. And so that is encouraging. Last road is looking not so bad, but still heavy northbound this morning. But it is a little bit north of Fire Trail, so also encouraging this morning. Schools are closing, and so things are looking better on the streets. Got some issues, though, on Independence Drive. Both directions, heavy traffic, west and eastbound, between the roundabouts at Blue Hill Road and East Street. Blue Hill Road is busy near the junction with Carmichael and north of Soldier Road as you make your way over that hill to Independence Drive. East Street also seeing some heavy traffic between Soldier and the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive, and even north of that roundabout as you make your way to Robinson Road. Blue Hill, back to Blue Hill, north of Robinson on the way to Cordo Avenue. You're going to be seeing that heavy traffic northbound as you make your way to Big Pond. And then we've got Eastern New Providence. We've got Eastern Road from Fox Hill to about Johnson Road, heavy traffic westbound. And we've got pockets along Prince Charles Drive, especially near Elizabeth Estates and near Beatrice Avenue. And northbound on Soldier Road, north of the intersection with Robinson and Prince Charles Drive, heavy traffic as you make your way to the intersection with Village, Wolf, and Bernard Road. Marathon also busy for you northbound, heading toward Wolf Road, and pockets along Mackey Street, just north of Wolf Road, and then closer to Shirley Street as well. Those are your hot spots, though. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert. Traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Apply for a loan with RBC at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay until February 2023. And don't forget RBC's Caribbean Acts of Kindness. This Christmas, let's spread some good together. Share your story of an act of kindness on the RBC Facebook and Instagram pages, and a registered charity of your choice could be selected to receive a donation from RBC. Be inspired. Hashtag RBC Give and Get. It feels
the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 bugles, 2 cowbells,
and a costume to rush on the street.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 whistles, 3 bugles, 2 cowbells,
and a costume to rush on the street.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 5 goatskin drums, 4 whistles, 3 bugles, 2 cowbells,
and a costume to rush on the street.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with one of the engineers with the Village Road Improvement Project, getting an update on that. I know everybody's waiting to hear what's going on there. We're going to get into that this morning in just a few minutes. Before the break, of course, we are getting the latest on all the drama with SBF and the SCB and all the FTX and all of that, everything. It's just a lot. Laverne, you call 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. All right. Yeah, Laverne, you heard that how that night, how he's been doing so far in prison. And
Totally blocked it out.
Okay. So according
Totally just ignored it.
Yeah?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So the acting commissioner of corrections at BDOCS, Doan Clear, saying that SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, is in good spirits after spending his first night in prison. Chief Magistrate Joanne Pratt, of course, denied him bail, and he's been remanded there because he's a flight risk until February 8th. So, everybody knows some joke that it's Fox Hell prison. The world has talked about this for years, about the harsh conditions there, the rats and all the roaches and all that other stuff. Anyway, but
I feel like he's not going to have that same experience.
not yet. Well, if ever. SBF is housed in the maximum security unit in the sick bay, we're told. He's getting his medication on time. Wow. Only in-person lawyer visits are permitted, along with personnel from the American Embassy. All others will be via video conferencing. He's with 5 other inmates in a dorm-style setting. Quote, he is in good spirits.
Well, certainly I'm sure it's nothing compared to what he was used to at his condo in Albany. But I guess in terms of accommodations in a prison, he's doing okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lawyer Jerome Roberts noting that SBF suffers from depression and insomnia. I'm sure he will have many people with the same conditions at BDOCS. Has had attention deficit disorder for over a decade. He's 30 now, by the way. So you can get that in your 20s? Okay. Roberts added that Bankman-Fried uses M.
Perhaps he was just officially diagnosed in his 20s,
Possibly, right.
Right.
He uses MSAM, a patch that must be replaced daily, which treats major depressive disorder. He takes 10 milligrams of Zyrtec, an allergy pill, every day, and takes 10 milligrams of Adderall for his ADD every 4 hours. Good Lord. Yikes. Wow. While it's unclear exactly how long Bankman-Fried is expected to remain in the prison's infirmary or if he is on suicide watch, it's unclear. He is prepared to fight extradition to the U.S. Wow. Okay.
That's what we really need to make note of.
Okay. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, okay, let's take this call and we'll get to your text messages really quickly. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning, Ms. Gardner. Good morning to you, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I just want you to think a couple of points, Dwight. I know we don't have enough time to go through all of them because if you actually look at this case and the fact that we are claiming to have the ability to legislate or regulate cryptocurrency shows a lack. Let's use an example to email. A fanatic back and forth about this email involving the Attorney General, involving the exchange. Yet, when the final email is sent, everybody's asleep. No one can respond to it. A action that was going to be said, going to be taken. Nobody responds to that, and so in essence, took the action. Fanaticism, the fear, all these different things that required such drastic action ceased once he said, if you don't respond, I'll go ahead with it. You have the BIS6, the asset server. The commission has the ability to mint coins, transfer coins off a platform, have yet to tell us what this digital asset is, but not have access, not have the consciousness to actually ask for full control of the server, which should have come as part of this regulatory regime. It's lacking. I heard the Prime Minister says, if anybody have a problem with the regime, we should come to them. I'm going to reach out to see. Because this regulatory regime, as I've said from 2 years ago, is so filled, it has more potholes than the entire Bahamas.
Oh, yeah.
And when you ask for information of what the world think of us, we simply have to ask ourselves, do we have a Freedom of Information? Do we have an Accountability Act? Do we have a Transparency Act? Do we have an Anti-Corruption Act? Do we have an Integrity Act? Do we have a Whistleblower Protection Act? Do we have any of these things that we so claim that we will do on an honest system, and we have not done for decades? We have been promised that it's part of the global perception of who we are, because we are good at saying what we do and not good at actually doing it. And so I do think that this FTX episode is an excellent opportunity for us to be dragged screaming and hollering into the 21st century. And if we don't, we will then begin to see how really far behind we will be left. COVID gave us a glimpse of how antiquated we were from a digital and data perspective. This is where the world is. This is what cryptocurrency is. This is what digital assets is beyond the cryptocurrency. And we need to have a conversation beyond the soundbite governance, beyond the speculative nature, and just do it. We have the opportunity to flip this FTX drama to really become the real jurisdiction for management of digital data across the world, which is nothing more than a grape in a super value store.
Okay.
Yet we're ignoring the store and having great debates concerning the sweetness, the sourness, the tardiness, and the color of the grape. I hope we mature at this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's get to your text messages really quickly because we got to move on. This text here. The direction of SCB, the Securities Commission, was too cozy with FTX. Go back and look at the groundbreaking and all of the events that they were at with SBF. Okay, that's another person saying that. We heard one of those earlier. Another one says here, hey, stop slandering our country, United States, country that does everything by the book. Bahamians are never involved in crime. We're not lawless, letting illegal immigrants do whatever, and crime is rampant. We are a Christian nation of saints. That's a text there. Somebody's in a jolly mood with time to waste with text messages like that. Okay. This one says here, so we can hear live what's going on in the U.S. court, but that will never happen here. This country has awesome potential and beauty, but the level of secrecy by our leaders tells me one thing: corruption. Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. Another one says here, Dwight, as the Bahamas has an advanced regulatory system and the fact that FTX is registered here, why on God's earth is the U.S. insisting that they are meddling in the Bahamas investigation? Shouldn't they wait until the Bahamas has completed its work?
I don't think they have any confidence in us. Based on
how many investigations are still pending around here. You know what I mean? Like,
so based on what they're saying, they just don't have any confidence that we're going to do a proper investigation, if any investigation, and they are talking as if there's too much commingling.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just aren't confident in us.
This person already responded to the LOL. Wait until the Bahamas completes an investigation. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not sure. Okay. Well, no, I'm sure that would not be what they would want to do. No. Let's take this call, and then we've got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good evening. This is Strachan, always along with you and Laverne, Dwight.
Good morning.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. But I have two questions before I make a comment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, Miss Christine Road, who is she? What she does in the Bahamas, right? And
she's
BPL, right? The information in which the BPL needed, would have been shared information between the Bahamas and the United States?
Did you say BPL?
Say it again?
Did you say BPL?
Yes.
Well, why BPL? What does BPL have to do with this?
Well, in your script, right? In the comment from the lawyer in the United States, right? You speak of BPL,
No.
right?
No, JQL, eh?
JQL?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, what is JQL?
That's the liquidators.
Okay.
Yeah, the liquidators here. And you asked Christina Rose, the executive director of the Securities Commission of the Bahamas.
Okay, she a smart woman. But
She
let
is.
me say something. According to the above script in which you had read, right? It seems as though the gentleman, right, did not. He was displaying apathy. If you understand what I'm saying, a businessman, he would have, as a businessman, he's supposed to speak to. He shouldn't act in such a mature way when it comes to Miss Rose, and he should have put more the information or pertaining to his company. He should have put more interested in speaking of it. You see, but he displayed a bunch of apathy, as though he was doing something untoward, or he didn't want certain information to be put out to the public. You understand me?
I hear you. Okay. Laverne, huh? Yeah? Got anything to... I think Bram was saying that the response, the hey, that was not the way that he should be responding to someone.
Right.
Yes, in a professional email, that is not what is expected. And again,
and especially when it's Miss Roll, her position.
I mean, I've got.
It wasn't like I was emailing him
right.
saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
I've got a lot of great friends at IRCA, but I wouldn't in a professional email. My good friends who've known for years, I would not send them to me. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey,
I can do that later. I got things to do. No, you wouldn't do that.
I answer you later, okay? Catch you later.
It's Christmas, man. Lay off me. I can do it in the new year. No, you can't do that, especially to the regulator.
Well, apparently you can.
No, I can't. Certain people can certainly try it.
You know that.
Right. But most of us wouldn't dare do that at all. Hey.
It depends on
have you ever said
but
hey?
You told me not to be controversial, so okay.
Have you ever said hey in a professional email? I mean, not what the horses use, but hey, HEY. Have you ever? I can't. Unless you're including a quote from somebody in the professional email. The person said to me, hey, right. With hey, oh boy, man. Oh man. Wow. Okay.
That's probably the way that he always communicated with them. So you know what I mean?
Hey man.
That's not for you or I, Dwight. That's not for us.
Or most. Almost.
Eh.
Boy. It must be nice. Dwight, this one says here, that boy needs to get out of jail. He won't last 2 more days in that place. Think about it. If we give him bail, do you really think that he would skip town? I don't know. I have no idea. This one says here, I'll get that report to you when I can. Oh no, bro. I'll get that word to you when I can.
I love that.
Tell,
hey, bro.
tell Brave and I'm not read this name. Tell Brave I say hello. Okay. Some people could do it. I guarantee you. Like some people can. There are consequences with that level of power, though. Heavy is the crown. Heavy is the crown. Anyway, let's take a break. What's happening on Village Road? Let's get the update when we get back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Responsibly. Don't take your paycheck every week, cash it, and head to the number house. Don't sit on the computer and spin for hours while life passes you by. Before you know it, dollars. Your family depends on that money. Your family depends on you. Problem gambling destroys lives and families. This message is brought to you by the Gaming Board for the Bahamas, reminding you to gamble responsibly.
It's the most rewarding time of the year. To RBC, get a loan to buy whatever. RBC makes it better. Get a loan and don't pay till New Year.
Make Christmas what you want it to be with a personal loan from RBC. Apply at rbc.com/Caribbean/loan and don't pay till February 2023. Conditions apply.
Get a loan and don't pay till New Year. To RBC.
Do you want a chance to win one of 5 Yamaha Kryptonite scooters? Do you like the great taste of Frito-Lay chips? Well, all you have to do is purchase chips like Lay's, Doritos, and Cheetos at your favorite grocery store, and you can enter to win thanks to Frito-Lay and Island Wholesale Scooter Giveaway Promotion. Want to know more? Join us at Solomon Supercenter December 17th, this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. for a chance to play Island Wholesale Shoot and Win game for instant prizes and a chance to win one of food distributed by Island Wholesale.
It's the time of year again, and Colombian Emeralds International wants to show our appreciation to you, our valuable customers, with our annual Customers Appreciation Day sale. 50% plus an additional 15% off on Monday, December the 19th and Tuesday the 20th from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. at their Rawson Square, Bay Street location. There'll be prizes and surprises every hour. So come and celebrate this holiday season with some sparkle and give the gift of memories that will last a lifetime with Colombian Emeralds.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
A costume to rush on this street. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 cowbells and a costume to rush on this street.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 bugles,
2 cowbells and a costume to rush on this street.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And we're going to move away from the SBF saga for a little bit. We may pick it up a little bit later in the show. But the other big... You're relieved, eh? The other big issue for a lot of motorists in your province will stay in the streets, especially the work that's going on Village Road. And a lot of promises have been made and dates have been put out there, but... What is the very latest? We're going to get all the details this morning. The resident engineer, Albion Simonet, is back with us. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Bahamas. Thanks for having me.
All right, so last we heard was the end of the year, which is 2 weeks away, pretty much. So how are we looking for Village Road?
Thank you. So, yes, we're getting close to the end of the year. We're approaching the climax of the Village Road Improvement Project. It's been about a year now since we've broken ground. we've installed a number of underground utilities. Of course, like it would have been stated previously, this project it's like sort of like a cake. But it's like there's a lot of underground work to be done prior to getting to the pavement. The pavement is the icing on the cake, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. All right.
So right now we're building the lower layers of the cake. And so what we started installing a BPL duct bank. You got about a mile of pipe, 16 6-inch ducts running down the center of Village Road, and that's to allow for future power supply by BPL. We've gotten a lot of water. We've gotten roughly a mile of water main in so far. That's to provide renewed water services for water and sewage customers.
So far,
there's a bit more to go, just a little bit more to go. So of the contract duct bank, we've installed all of the contract duct bank for the project. For the water main, we've installed just shy about 200 feet of water main left to go. But roughly about just under a mile of pipe has already been laid. So that will be done in a very short time. Throughout the course of the works, we've had to work very closely with Cable Bahamas, had to work very closely with BTC. There's been a lot of moving parts. So, you go to run a new water line or a new power line and you find, okay, there's a cable there, now you need to shift this cable, or no, you need to shift the power line or shift the water line. So there's been a lot of very strong coordination between utility companies. We've been working hand in hand with them. They've been strong supporters of the project. Our success is impossible without their cooperation, and they've been very, very cooperative with us. We've got team members from BPL, Water and Sewage, Cable Bahamas, BTC, and they're on the ground. I mean, boots on the ground, shovels in the dirt. They're assisting our crews on the ground as we work. The contractor can't do it alone. The Ministry of Works can't do it alone. And so we've been working very diligently hand in hand just to do it. It's we're in the trenches, under fire, but we know that we serve a God of the impossible, and that we also know we serve a God who specializes in miracles. So at the end of the day, we're faithful and we're confident that when we get everything done, the public will be it will be shining. Everybody will be in such a happy state. So right now, for the contemporary update, we've completed the traffic signal ducts, the East Bay Street and Village Road side on the north side by Montague Beach. We finished. What does that mean exactly? Okay, so just to break that down, we've put in the pipes that would enable us to run power to the new traffic signals that we're placing at that junction. With Shirley Street and Village Road, those works are projected to be complete today. So once those traffic signal ducts are completed, we backfill that area and we work the earth base in order to prepare for the paving. And so as we close out the underground work, the northern part, right? We have already presently started you're seeing the graders working. We're working the earthwork, so we're getting so a pavement is not just the asphalt, the blacktop, right? It's really built up in layers, and so we're building the earthen layers that actually provide the structural support for the blacktop, which will come later. So we're building that presently. That work has started from the northern part, and that's progressing toward the south from Shirley Street. Today we're intending to do some testing of lines. So there's some trenches open still just to the south of Shirley Street. We're projecting to do some pressure testing today. Once those pressure tests are completed, the intent is to backfill those trenches to build up that layers of cake, right? So that we can begin to prepare the final surface for the blacktop. And so that is projected to take place. The backfilling is projected to take place today. The testing is taking today, and then hopefully shortly after the backfilling will follow shortly after. So of course the roundabout in front of Queens College and Bahamas National Trust is being constructed. The earthwork is being built up in layers.
It's just being constructed.
It's being constructed presently. It's the wall has been set back in front of the BNT. We're building up the earthen layers, drilling a well now for drainage. Running the last bits of pipe that need to go in that area. The crews are keen and focused on backfilling trenches as soon as they can. So, we get a call. They say, this utility company had to do some work in this trench. And then we said to go in that trench, backfill that in layers, and build it all up into one kind of uniform surface. What we don't want is an uneven surface where we have, this was a trench, that wasn't a trench. And so, there's what we call the the differential settlement. So where one part of it is down and the other part is up, we want to make sure it's all one smooth flow. So there's not this different things happening on the ground there on the road.
All right. So from all that you're saying, I mean, it sounds to me like we won't see this fully completed until February or March. Is that right? That it definitely can't be this year.
So substantial completion. We're looking to get the earthworks done. Now, in terms of the final completion, we're looking to get the road surface in a comfortable, rideable state shortly. Right?
When is shortly?
So shortly would be at this point. Well, we're doing the underground work. We're still working on underground works at this point.
Right.
We're looking to conclude underground works this coming week. We're looking to conclude underground works, and so ideally, if the road surface would be prepped and ready for a blacktop, but we would not see the full. I guess the pavement, the blacktop, might not be on there this year.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a good chance it will be accordingly. We're looking at possibly the first week of January for the blacktop. Now, that doesn't mean that the surface itself will not be rideable. The surface will be rideable. But once the earthwork is prepped, we'd be in a position to lay the blacktop.
All right, so, and then the blacktop, when it's all done.
Correct.
Are you thinking that can happen in January, next month?
That's looking like the first week. Yeah, so like the first week.
And everything will be done. The roundabout will be finished, and all the lights will be operational by then, or say this is it. We've done it. We've got the lane markings and everything in. That's
so the road will be usable. In fact, even now the road is usable. There, of course, there's a bit of a rough ride as we do the earthwork toward the south. The pavement surface will become a lot more rideable. It'll be an easy, smooth ride, so persons will be able to traverse. By such time, we would have closed up the trenches. So once trenches are closed, essentially you have a road functioning like a road. The only thing is the blacktop would not be present. And so it'd just be a matter of ensuring that dust levels are kept at a tolerable level. We've definitely gotten, we know that the dust has been a concern of the public. And trust you me, as we ride through Village Road, we feel it ourselves. So when we go on the road, we're not immune. So my truck, I have to clean my truck too.
Right.
So I definitely appreciate the fact that, it is an inconvenience, and we are doing our best to mitigate the dust and the inconvenience. And, we're grateful for the support of the stakeholders, the residents in the area, the businesses in the area. They've been very, very supportive of us, and they're all still functioning at this time. And so the Village Road businesses are there functioning. And so we're grateful for their support as we go. We're very grateful for their support.
Okay. All right. So we'll get back to that in a bit, residents and the businesses. But trying to pin it down for a date. So you're saying first week in January, the blacktop will be on. And is that when you all the engineers will say, we're done, everything is finished? Or is there still more that will need to be done after that first week in January?
Right. So after we get the blacktop done, we would still need to place the striping. We still have to do signage. We still have traffic lights, and we also have some new street lights. So those are, I guess, we maybe like to call them bells and whistles, because the road will be functional. However, they'll be optimized once we've added the striping and such. And so all of that, we're looking to get all of that done in January as well.
Okay.
Those traffic signals are en route. Signage is readily available. Striping material is readily available. So those things would be done in January as well.
So by the end of January, we think that can be finished.
Correct.
Yeah, and the roundabout and everything will be finised.
Yes, that is the target, barring any unforeseeable conditions, God willing, and trusting that we're able to keep a handle on everything happening. Of course, there's always unforeseeable conditions. We've encountered a number of challenges throughout the execution. When we go to, you do your ground penetrating radar check, you do your underground scans, right? You check the drawing office and say, hey, is there anything here? And even out of an abundance of caution, you're hand digging, you have an excavator, there's still the risk of damages. And so we've definitely dealt with damages as we go. As those come up, we've had to make repairs. And so barring any unforeseeable, and the weather, of course, weather permitting as well. Right. Naturally, earthwork, road work, pavement work is very dependent on weather. And so we pray for good weather so that we would not have to
not have to encounter any major delays. But now water is good too in a way. Sometimes when it rains, it helps the earth to get to the right, just the right consistency. So, like I said, we're building this cake. As we build this cake, we want to make sure every layer is prepped. And we don't want to rush the brush either. We've been working, for a year now in the ground. We broke ground in January 2022. And so our intent is to not now rush the brush toward the end, to not give us the perfect finish. We want our kids to look back and say, hey, this pavement was right. And we want the people of Village Road to say what they endured, they see the fruits of it.
Yeah. So everything is underground. That's
Correct.
what the issue is, the main issue?
Yes, correct. That has heavy coordination. And just in terms of the team members are all, they're all on board, and it takes a collective effort. And the collective effort is there. When you go on the site, you can see the various team members from the various utility companies, boots on the ground, trucks on the ground. They're in the jackets, they're with the cones, and they're there. So we're not, we're in the field, we're present. We're not in the cubicle twiddling thumbs. We are very out in the field, and we are pushing, and we all want the same thing. We all want the same thing for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So we're pushing to get it to this place where the inconvenience is away and it's comfortable to ride, and that's.
Well, speaking of Christmas, I was going to ask you. We've got a lot of holidays there. Are you working on the holidays as well? Are you working on Christmas, or do you get a day off, or how much of a delay is that going to cause?
Okay, so we do intend to continue works outside of the holidays. The holidays themselves, there may be work. We would like to leave the holidays out, but I'll have to come back to confirm that. Generally speaking, the Ministry of Works does not shut down for the holidays. We would get the holidays and maybe a half day here and there, but naturally we're working straight through that time. So whatever work can be done during the period between Christmas and New Year's would still continue, as is practical, because of course some operations do shut down during that time, and so making it a bit tricky to pave and things of that sort. And so we will be doing our endeavor best and endeavor most during that time to do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like a carrot, a buried carrot. You see a small stem on top, but all of the effort, all of the energy is underground. Like an iceberg is underground. So you look at this carrot, and you see this small stem, but you don't know this big carrot on the ground. And so that's where the
iceberg,
the lion's share.
The scary connotation there.
no, not iceberg, carrot.
Okay,
the lion's share of the lion's share of the investment, capital invested in improving Village Road is underground. So it's there, and once it all comes to the top, the icing on the cake. You'll see the icing on the cake.
All right, so we're talking with a resident engineer with the Village Road Improvement Project, Albrion Simonet. We're going to pick up the conversation after the news update and Morning Blend Business, so stay tuned. We've got a lot more to talk about with the project. This is Morning Blend. We're going to be right back. Stay with us.
Love sent to me a costume to rush on this street.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
to rush on this street.
Hey! On the third day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 3 bugles, 2 cowbells,
and a costume to rush on this street.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, December 15th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And we're continuing our conversation from our 8 o'clock hour with resident engineer on the Village Road Improvement Project, Albrion Simonet, in studio with us. Having a great conversation so far, getting an update on what's happening with Village Road. And if you're just joining us, the timeline, again, we're looking at January for completion.
For the blacktop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I know we would have said we wanted to get substantial completion by the end of this year. God willing, barring any unforeseeable circumstances, uncontrollable situations. And so what we found is that as we go, we're working. Village Road is a cake. It's like a cake. We're building layers, but it's also like a carrot in that there's a lot of underground work that goes in before we can put the icing on the cake. And so we are working diligently day and night. Right? We have our crews there all day. If you go there at night, these women and ladies are out, till 5 in the morning out there working, and we are doing our endeavor best to get the underground work squared away and to do it properly. So not to rush the brush, but to make sure that we do it in accordance with the highest standards, quality standards. We want the road to be something that we look back on and say, that's how to do it.
Yeah.
We want to be able to use it as an indicator for what is positive work and what is quality finish. So right now, we've substantially completed a lot of the underground work. We've installed over a mile of pipe. It's 16 pipes, so if you were to stretch that, that's almost 16 miles of pipe, almost right buried at Village Road. And so we've installed a BPL duct bank. We've installed about 4,800 feet out of 5,000 feet for the water main. There's a small section that remains between St. Andrews Drive and Pargate Road. That part they will come to in short order. But the lion's share of the water main is in. We're projecting to do pressure testing today so that we could begin to close up the last bit of trenches along that northern part. They're installing water service connections and water laterals. The train of that has progressed from Shirley Street, roughly almost as far south as Queens College, underground, the service crossings south. The traffic signal ducts at the top of the hill, not the top of the hill, but at East Bay and Village Road, those have been installed. Those will allow to bring power to the future traffic signals going there. Those are, of course, Mike, I think I mentioned previously in a previous update, those are video camera smart traffic signals. So those will be able to watch traffic and be reprogrammed using artificial intelligence to just sense what's happening with the traffic flows.
Oh, when's that coming to the rest of the island?
So I think I can't speak exactly to when. I know there is an intention to roll out this system on some other project as well. So I think the ministry definitely will come and give an update on that as more developments come for that.
Yeah.
But for Village Road, yes, we will see smart traffic signals on Village Road. And so the traffic signal crossings there's crossings at East Bay Street and Village Road, and then we're presently working at Shirley Street and Village Road. If you would have seen the crews there, they were there overnight, in fact, every night. And so we are going to finish that today. So the underground work at Shirley Street and Village Road, barring no other, will be completed today. And so once we've completed the underground work, we're building the earth layers. So we're grading, we're rolling, we're just building the earth, right? So of course a pavement is like a cake, and the black top is really just the icing on top of the cake. But the structural support of that cake is really the earth. And so as we backfill trenches, we build up the cake in layers, and we make sure it's nice and tight. And we're building all the layers that support the icing on top, which is the blacktop pavement. And so that is going in now. We're projecting to lay the actual earth itself would be done in short order. But of course, the blacktop at this point, we're looking at the first week of January for the blacktop. That's the icing on the cake. But of course, the pavement cake, the other lower layers would be there. So of course, the road is traversable, and the surface it works fine.
All right, so I want to talk more about traversable, but it just sounds like with all of that the first week in January just doesn't seem possible. I don't want to be negative or anything, but it just seems like you still have quite a bit to do, and with all those holidays in there and Christmas, it just seems like that's not going to be possible.
Well, I thank God we serve a God of the impossible who specializes in miracles, right? I thank God we do. Now, we know that we don't rely on our own strength only, but from the Most High, we definitely are able to see this vision, and we see that it is possible to get done within January. So the underground work is progressing daily and night. Day and night, our crews are on the ground. Very careful coordination with BPL, with Water and Sewage, with BTC and Cable Bahamas. They've been very strong supporters. Their team members are on the ground. They're working with us hand in hand with the contractors team. Everybody is doing their part. We're not in the cubicle twiddling thumbs. We are boots on the ground. We are pushing the work, and so every day we get a little bit closer to the mark where we're going. And so overnight we would have installed some additional laterals, water laterals, and installed some additional pipes. And so as we close out the underground work, the earthwork train is working behind in tandem. The graders are on site, the rollers are on site. So preparing the surface, when you ride the road surface, you could feel the difference. So as the underground work is backfilled and we're working, the earthwork team is working, that prepares the surface.
All right. So, and again, full completion in January.
That's the current projection, barring any unforeseeable conditions, God willing. We are working day and night to push toward that, and we know that right. We know that at the moment. And so we ask that the public would bear with us as we build this cake. And of course, this is like a carrot in the ground. You can't see all the underground stuff, but that's the lion's share of the human capital, the financial time capital is invested in the underground. And so as we get the underground stuff done, then we come behind and, we don't want to rush the cake to where we don't get the blacktop just right. And so naturally, we're going to build it up in layers, get it where it needs to be, and then have that the blacktop.
All right, so you're asking for patience. How has that been so far? There are a lot of residents and the businesses there. I don't know if that impedes whether you can work overnight because of the residents, but tell us about this and what they've been saying to you.
Okay, we've gotten the stakeholders, the businesses, and the owners in the area have been very cooperative with us, very supportive of us. A lot of the businesses remain open, of course. None of the businesses have closed. They're all open. And so they're able to still service the general public. And there's been definitely a little bit of a slow lull, but they've been very bearing with us, and we thank them for bearing with us. And we know that once the underground work is done and the construction slows down, what's going to be the finished product is going to be everyone will be pleased. It definitely will be pleasing once it's done. But we're getting there. So one day at a time, we're pushing there, and
yeah. So have you heard from them? What are they saying? You talked about dust.
Yes.
That must be frustrating. What have they been saying about all of that?
Yeah, so what we've had to do, there's been a lot of traffic diversions throughout the works. The traffic management plan is it's not static, it is dynamic. It does change, right? So today, we might have a single lane traffic in this area. Tomorrow we might have to cross the road and potentially divert traffic into Blair. And so we have been diverting traffic into Blair in order to allow for persons to still traverse up and down. And of course, we've asked the motoring public that for traversing Village Road, a lot of it has been local access. So unless you need to go to a particular place, if you're just traversing for the sake of going to another area outside of Village Road, we ask that motorists would avoid Village Road unless they actually are going to a destination on Village Road.
Has that been happening? Have people been doing that?
Yes, I would say we've seen because Village Road, even though the work is ongoing, we've allowed for two-way traffic for the most part of traffic. And a lot of traffic is good for the public because they're able to move about freely. But at the same time, it does put our workmen and workwomen at risk in that the increased amount of traffic kind of limits their mobility.
Yeah.
And so we do ask for, when we put out our public notices, we've been doing that. And if you follow the website, you would see the diversions. And we're encouraging persons to divert at Wolf Road to go north on Kemp Road. And if you're coming from the north, to There's roads off of Shirley Street that would allow you to go around the major work zone. So we're asking for the public to adhere to the traffic management plan, look out for the public notices. Also, we have a website where you can see some of the traffic management plans. That's VRIP.Bahamas.com.
Yep.
You're able to see there. And also, too, the Ministry of Works has a Facebook page, the Ministry of Works and Utilities on Facebook. You're able to tune in there and follow for updates as well. So you can stay in touch with us. We're accessible. I've definitely gotten a lot of calls directly from property owners and business owners, and a lot of them have my cell and able to call and say, hey, could you do something here? And the team is very responsive whenever we have complaints, and if there's a damage or something, we call and they're right away responsive. They're on the ground, on point to address any concerns. And I think the public has definitely said to us, they like the fact that we're accessible and they can see us working. We understand that there's a bit of an inconvenience in the meantime, but we do it to improve Village Road for the benefit of all.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, we will.
We're talking with resident engineer with the Village Road Improvement Project, Albrion Simonet. You can give us a call if you have any questions about the project, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, or text us, 422-4796. Here.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning. This is Michael Fields from Four Wall Squash and Social Club.
Good day, Mr. Fields. Thank you for calling. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Albrian. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well, sir. Thank you for your call.
Okay. I was listening to the show, and I thought I'd call in regards to and get the point of view from the actual businesses in the area. I run, along with my partners, a squash and social club called Four Walls, which is located right smack really in the middle of Village Road area, and I have to agree with many of the points that Albrian has said. He has approached all of the businesses, and they've been very visible, and he kept us abreast of the progress. There's been a town hall meeting about 2 months ago. But there is frustration. We've seen, and we just submitted a proposal to government, signed by 15 other businesses in the area. But we've seen at Four Walls almost a 35 to 40% drop, and we've had some businesses attest to almost a 70% drop in business. So whilst we're frustrated by several things. One, the deadlines keep changing. The latest deadline, I think, given by the minister was to be substantially complete by the end of December. Nobody believes that's going to happen, and I think Albrian, you confirmed that. Now you're saying January. The original date was September. It was pushed to October, then November, then December, and now January. So we don't have that much hope that it's going to be finished by January. And we believe now that even though the effort is there, that it's time to come and sit down with the businesses and talk about how the government can assist businesses in the area. One of the things we're proposing to government is that as part of any of this, because we need to improve our roads. We all agree with that. Village Road hadn't been touched in Lord knows how many years, 50 years, Albrian, or at least. But there should be part of that certain incentives for any material roadworks for the businesses. The key to any economy is small business. And when small businesses are hurt, they can't recover and turn around and bounce right back. And I know at least one of the businesses two businesses at least who signed a letter have closed their doors. They're not huge businesses, but they're closed. And we're certainly suffering financially. So what we've reached out to government, we're not asking for a big wallet full of cash, but we are asking for certain tax incentives. And to also include those tax incentives as part of any future planning for roadworks to help businesses get back on their feet. And we submitted that proposal to the government. We did get an acknowledgement from the minister that he received it, but we're waiting for a date to meet with the government.
How long ago did you say you sent that?
The proposal was sent last week.
Okay.
We verbally requested at the town hall meeting about 2 months ago, but the signed proposal was sent last week.
Wow.
In terms of the tax incentives, we were looking at for residents and businesses or owners, we're looking at property tax, perhaps incentives for the next couple of years. Maybe a reduction incentive with the BPL, reduction, if not free business license charges. And also, which I thought was a really, really interesting proposal, and I think the government should really explore this, is after the project is complete, assist the businesses with the marketing effort to say, hey, come back. There's been a big, I think, Aubrey, you said you have a website, there's town halls. I know everything said avoid Village Road, right? So there's been a lot of efforts to avoid Village Road. After this is done on any future project, to say, hey, guys, Village Road is done. Here are the businesses that are here on Village Road.
Yeah.
Come back and support the businesses here. So these are the types of things that we want to work with the government to put in place for this project as well as future projects.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck. Some of those, I don't know, but sounds. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you calling. Thank you very much for giving us your perspective on this. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Good
Fields.
luck to you.
Appreciate that.
So when you hear that, I know you.
Yeah. So definitely the Four Walls. I love Four Walls. I've been there a number of times. We did have food from Four Walls for our town hall meeting. So if you've not tried Four Walls yet, I actually would encourage you to do so. Of course, once Village Road is completed, the Four Walls will not be able to hold the amount of people coming through Four Walls. So definitely, we've been definitely supported by Four Walls. And in terms of the requests of the government, I cannot speak to those. That's outside of my portfolio. And the minister's responsibilities over such things would have to discuss that. But I cannot comment. But thank you for your support, Mr. Fields, and we will continue to do our best to stay in touch and to make sure you're up to date with what's happening.
What was the original timeline for completion? This was supposed to be, was it September?
Yes, it was September originally. Since the project started, naturally there's been changes. There have been some additions to the project. So some of the key changes, I think one of the biggest ones that actually got a lot of, we had to work together. The roundabout. So the roundabout at QC and BNT was not a part of the original scheme.
Right.
And so what we intended to do there was to kind of leave it as is. And just through doing what engineers do and looking out for the public safety, we recognize that, hey, if we improve this road, persons are going to be speeding through Village Road because at the present moment, the road condition had them slowed down. But once you make a
I
brand
thought that
new...
was intentional.
No,
you don't do that?
Yes, to slow them down.
That's
so,
not a part of the plan? Okay.
No. So once you make that road smooth, they'll be flying through there. And so, of course, we are concerned about the safety of the motorists and the pedestrians. A lot of school children, of course, are on the road moving around QC, BNT. And so we said, okay, we need to now make this big change to the project. So the roundabout would have been a major change. That would have added some time on the design and construction as well. Further to that, we encountered during the execution of the waterworks, we realized and we learned that the sewer main was in a state where water and sewage might have changed it, in another 5 years, 3 to 5 years. It didn't need to change today, but we opted to add it into the scope today because we wanted to consolidate the inconvenience. We didn't want to have... we didn't want to pave the road today,
right,
and then come back in 2 or 3 years and then excavate a brand new pavement to run something that we knew needed to change before we paved it, and so we opted to add that to the scope. So between the roundabout, adding the additional sewer, we've also added some additional crossings here and there. There's been some underground, all of these underground pipes. We've added some additional ones. And that's with a view to mitigate and reduce the amount of excavation we'll do in the future. We don't want to dig the road today and then come back, in another 2 years or 3 years and say we're digging it up again. And the question be asked of me, didn't you know that this utility didn't do it back then?
Right.
And so we've opted to do it now, consolidate the inconvenience. And so those are two things that have added some time on to what we're doing, coupled with the fact that like you said, Village Road is 50 years old. The underground utilities, there are some things that are live, some things that are abandoned. But as you do underground work, it's safest to assume that everything is live for the safety of the persons working. If you find a line, you don't know if that's a water line, a power line, a phone line, and so as we've done our best to you go in, you scan the road, you get an idea of what's going on the ground. You call in utility companies, they would mark and spray and say, hey, we've got this line and we've got that line there. And so Knowles Construction would have taken on a ground penetrating radar to do these scans. And even after doing those scans and you're exercising the most utmost care, still at times you may encounter something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big part of what we're encountering. And so what we realize is that because we're collecting data as we go, the next time we have to do an excavation, let's say 20 years from now, if that road was to be repaved, say 20 years or so, at that point we have drawing records confirming everything on the ground with a level of certainty. So the uncertainty of using no records, when you're talking about a very long time ago where the records were not well kept and everything is digital software nowadays. And so we're able to improve our workflow going forward for the future.
That's all changed.
And of course, another thing to consider, when we made these couple of changes to the project, we said, this road is, is designed with a certain lifetime. So we're looking at a 20-year design. So it may not look like something was needed today, but if you check back in another, let's say you come back in 10 years, you'll say, you know what? If that change was not made now, you would have seen safety issues.
Yeah.
And so we do these things to make sure that we address the safety concerns and the congestion concerns so that the road can actually flow, not just now, but into the future as the population grows. And of course, as we know, the Bahamas is growing and the population is growing. And so we have to accommodate the traffic on the road.
Right. So September to January, that's a while there. That's quite a while. So when you hear calls like what we just got, what do you say to the businesses and the homeowners in the area? What do you say about the frustration that is still there, even though you're communicating with them, but there's still it's been a long time. Definitely,
and I understand the frustration. It's not. I feel the pain. It's not something we take lightly, which is why we ensure that constant communication is there. We know that there is a sacrifice to make these improvements. We know that it's it takes their indulgence to help us to get it done, and so we appreciate their support. And as we ride on the roads, and we feel it too when we ride on the road, and we when we ride and it's rough, and it's this is closed or that road is closed, this road is diversion, and we have to go around, and we have to move a cone around and things and signs, and so we feel that, and we say we use that as fuel to push to get it done as fast as we can, just to reduce the time of painful time. So we want to make it as smooth as possible. Yeah.
Let's take another call here. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Are you there? Good morning. Hi.
I do appreciate the road work. I live in the area. There's help for the residents. I don't recall no time meetings because we could have been communicated clearly that our telephone service would have 393 would have been out because of the road work, and I'd be calling back and forward. It would have been more communicated, up to date, not only on Zelenet, but on Tri-Station and all the radio stations. Updates on the roadways, updates on utilities like telephones and whatever are being affected. You know what I'm saying? Proper communication was not affected in this road work, and I hopefully go for the future for the Glaston Road. But those people down there, we won't be suffering with miscommunication, no telephone, and no other things because of bad communication.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. Interesting points. Thank you.
Can I
That's why, right?
Yep.
Yes, can I
That's
get your
why we
number
need
offline?
local government where you could clearly meet with the community of Camp Road and other areas say this is what's going to be happening and this is how we're going to inform you on a daily basis. Have a good day.
Okay,
Dwight.
thank you very much.
Thank
Stay
you,
on
sir.
he wants to get your number, Albrion. Somebody wants to get your number. So
Yes.
give it to our producer, please.
All right.
Pumpkin Eater. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you raised some interesting points. Is that the responsibility of the ministry or the utility companies? I believe we heard the Water and Sewage Corporation do that often, but I don't recall hearing that from the other utilities.
So the outages that would have taken place for to the other utils, those would not have been the planned outages. This project comprises primarily the water line and the power line. Along the way, there have been damages. There have been some times when a line may be damaged through working, and so those outages would not have, because they were not planned. As they come up and they're fixed, they're emergency repairs. And so when we get the call or the complaint, or if it's noted, hey, this was damaged, we make the call, say, hey, can you get a crew to go fix it? So that's the reason why those are not. It's not like a planned. We're not planning to cut the phone lines between 10 and 5. It's not like that, or we're planning to cut the cable service like that. But it's just a matter of when there are accidents on site, and naturally, as we do this work. We found, like I said before, we've scanned the ground. We've involved all utility companies. We do our best to dig carefully, but still there are accidents on site. And so when there are accidents, there is potential outages. And so whenever those do happen, we carefully coordinate with the utils, and they've been very responsive to come. And so, like I said to the gentleman, if he called me direct, I will make sure I see to it that whatever concern he has is addressed as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I've been getting calls from persons, and when they call the office or they'll call the cell, and I would address those concerns as they come. Now, of course, it could become a bit overwhelming at times, but we have a large team, and so everybody has their the area that they focus on, and so it wouldn't be possible without the team, and that's from the contractor side to the utility side and the ministry support staff. All make it possible for us to do that.
Generally, how long were those unplanned outages? How long did they go on for?
Whenever that does happen, that's usually handled as an emergency repair. So generally, the longest time it would take would be the time it takes to get the material and the manpower to the ground to do it. It's not really a thing where there's a long, drawn-out process. We would do our best to push it, and of course, the contractor knows construction has also lent support in the field. So if there's a need to lend a backhoe, he's been very supportive in that way and providing that to assist utility companies in their repairs on site.
How does it work? I mean, do you know immediately, like, oh boy, I think I did something and it's out, or do you have to wait for calls to come in and say, hey, something's up?
All right, so it varies. It's not totally cut and dry. Some situations you might actually see a cable physically pop, right? If it does happen like that, or if there's a leak, you will see actual water coming up above the road surface. And then sometimes when there's a very subtle type of damage where maybe it wasn't observed, it might wait until a complaint comes in. But generally, it's known that if this particular thing is damaged, then you could expect this this area, the vicinity to be affected. So they would be aware of that, and in those cases.
Oh, okay. Let's take one more call. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. You are on the air. Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend Business.
Morning, Dwight and your guest.
Hi.
There's no doubt in my mind that the roadworks will be in excellent condition when the screw is done. But my question to you is, especially in the United States of America, they are now doing away with roundabouts because, roundabouts are more prone to accidents than big four-way intersections. Why a roundabout? And I hope that the level of care that is given to Village Road on the outskirts there is given to the same level of care when you do the inner city. Thanks for taking my call. I'll listen to your answer.
Okay. Interesting.
Thank
this
you
is always a hot issue, right?
Yes. So I can comment on that. So the roundabouts are traffic calming measures, traffic control measures, right? You have when you're looking at a junction, you have an option. You could say, okay, let's put a traffic signal here, or let's put a roundabout. And so the Ministry of Work keen on roundabouts, and it's because they actually perform. And so the caller mentioned about how there seem to be more accidents on roundabout. Now, roundabouts are not accident proof, right? So now what happens when you compare a roundabout accident, they tend to be less serious accidents, so kind of more, very light fender bender types, versus if you have a traffic controlled signal, the risk of when a traffic signal goes down, there's a higher chance of a very serious accident taking place. And so a roundabout achieves the objective of controlling the traffic, while reducing the likelihood of serious accidents. So by doing that, it preserves lives. It improves public safety. And of course, in the long term, from a maintenance perspective, a roundabout is, you don't have to go and take, when a hurricane is coming, for instance, right? The Ministry of Works would dispatch and take down traffic signal heads ahead of a storm. A roundabout, you don't have to do that. And of course, it's going to function even when the power is out, even if the head signal is down. So the roundabouts are very effective. And especially in the case for Village Road, given the scenario there, we've assessed the various options, and that was found to be the most effective approach to solve the long-term, 20-year scenario.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people still say they don't get it.
The player.
Yes, they don't get it, but those are very good points that you make there. And
Yes.
again, as you mentioned, the speed, it can't ever be unless they're flying over the roundabout, which I've seen before, which is insane. But yeah, and we're likely, based on the last time you were here, and are going to see quite a few more.
Yes,
roundabouts.
There are more roundabouts planned. I know the projects will become available. They will give updates on those.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the science behind it. Right? It's about minimizing what we call conflict points, so areas where there's a risk of persons having a collision, and then allow minimal downtime and minimal things causing disruption to it.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to ask you about this. So when there is a pothole, when there is an issue, tell us a little bit about that process. We heard one of your colleagues last week at a press conference talking about that, but there does seem to be a major issue with the patchwork that's done. That material either not being of the same quality of the road and being softer and more porous. I don't know the right terms to use, but something being different about it. Is it like what you've been talking about all morning about the cake and not going deep enough to address that foundation? What's happening there? Why are we always having these issues with these patches?
So I don't want to comment on the pothole program. However, the Ministry of Works is improving and is working arduously to get them resolved as quickly as possible. So that's an ongoing maintenance. And so, like I said, with Village Road, we're intending to build this cake in such a way that we reduce the need to have potholes in the future. We're building it in such a way that we don't want to see potholes in the near term, and that's really it. So when we build this cake, we're building this cake at Village, and we want to reduce the need for potholes. So if you rush it, essentially you could open yourself up for you increase the odds of potholes. So when you build the earth, when you build the earth right, and that's what we're doing on Village Road, you build the earth, you layer it, you make sure it's structurally sound. And as you layer it and you pave over it, you want to reduce the instance of pothole. You can never 100% guarantee, okay, this road will not have a pothole in 20 years. I mean, that's a bit, we don't know, but we don't know it's hard to control the weather elements and, cars driving on the road. But yeah, we do our endeavor best, and as we build the road, we build it with a view to reduce the proliferation of potholes in the future in years to come.
Yeah. Okay. One more call. Yeah. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay. There you go. All right. So one more time, completion of this project. We're looking at.
Right. So the underground utility works are ongoing at the moment. We're going to be pressing straight through the end of the year to get the underground work done, to get the base of the pavement done, so get the earthwork done. So once the earthwork surface is prepped and ready, we're looking to lay blacktop early in January for the blacktop. But of course, the underground works, we're looking to wrap those up substantially before this year is out. So we're working every day, every night. We're pushing to get that done.
Okay. And again, give us those contact numbers and where we can get more information.
So follow the Ministry of Works and Utilities Facebook page for updates on Village Road and all other Ministry of Works projects. And also for the Village Road project, you can visit VRIPBahamas.com. So you can stay in the loop for when we do town meetings, also to see traffic management updates. Of course, as the road works progress, the traffic update management is dynamic, and so look out for updates from the contractor. There are those construction places, updates in the press and in the papers, and we also post them to the website just to ensure that the general public is aware of changes happening on Village Road.
Yeah. And this text just came in here. They're asking, why are we using asphalt as opposed to maybe asphalt concrete or concrete? What's the reason?
Okay, so this person sounds very technical. Now, what it's actually called, what we're putting on the road, is actually called asphaltic concrete. That's the formal name.
Asphaltic concrete.
But it's a type of concrete which is black, right? This is what we're putting there. So, but the reason why, and so in terms of, well, I guess cost is a factor. Of course, when we do projects across the Bahamas, we have to take into account that the public taxpayers are paying for the roads. And so the more cost-effective roadway has been, and also considering the need for servicing and maintenance, has been the asphalt. So the asphalt has been favored over the concrete roads now across the country. A concrete road would cost more than an asphalt road. And of course, if you had to go into it in the future, the idea of patching it is a bit more costly to do. And so for that reason, we've generally gone with the asphalt pavement as opposed to concrete for pavements.
Okay. I know I said that was the last one, but hey, let's do this. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. You got it.
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen. I have a quick question. When you turn off Village Road onto Parkgate Road, right on the left, on the south side, there's a heavy equipment company, and in the mornings, in particular, they park a lot of their equipment on the side of the road, which is an impediment to the flow of traffic, during rush hour morning traffic and in the afternoon, of course, when they come back. I was wondering if there is anything that would be done about that so that they're not blocking the road or taking up a lot of the road.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We have had some dialogue with the property owner there to not park equipment on, because where the road has been widened now, that is public road, and so parking there would be akin to parking on any public road where it's blocking traffic. So we would just continue to appeal to them to request that they move those.
And for example, this morning I turned onto that road I was heading north on Village Road, so I made a left-hand turn off Village Road onto that. And one of the vehicles was parked so close to the corner. It was a good thing I was paying attention, because I could have easily, and if it's a flatbed truck, I could have easily, driven into that, and the bed come through my windshield, which I think is very dangerous. And there was no doubt they were too close to the corner.
Now, I would just to clarify, that equipment is not attached to the project. That's the equipment is there to the it's not attached to the project.
Yes, I know, of course, yes.
We would request. I will make a request of them to do that, to move that, and going forward, generally, well, just not even just there, but there's been other parts of Village Road where we've seen persons would park on the sidewalk or park in the road, and so signage and enforcement. Those are the things that we do partner very closely with the RBPF. The Wolf Road Station has been a great support to us. And so as we have issues or violations, we're able to touch base with our counterparts at the Wolf Road Station, and they're able to address persons. And so in this case, I may have to also get them involved with that if I don't get the results otherwise.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. So we got this message as well. Does this happen much at all, 24-hour road work projects? Do you do stuff like that, or are you stuck to the normal 8-hour shifts?
All right. Excellent question. The project, we do work day and night. The reason being, certain works are okay during the day, but then certain works require a lot less traffic flow. And so because of that dynamic, we do a lot of works at night where it's easier to maneuver. Certain works, you actually would have to, have a little bit more. We need more space, right? So certain works require more. If the truck needs, the pipe has to be offloaded, the loader has to move up and down the street, and so certain works are better for nighttime works. And then certain works are comfortable for daytime. So we've found that working day and night is really the ideal way to get it done within the timeline we're trying to push for.
All right. So, out of time.
Okay.
One more time, give us the website and contact numbers for people to get more information about the project.
Okay, so the Ministry of Works Facebook page is Ministry of Works and Utilities on Facebook. The website is vripbahamas.com. Also, there is we have billboards on the project site, but I'll just go ahead and give the office number. Hold on. The office number, the 603-3150. If there's a particular concern for the project team, that's the site office, 603-3150. And of course, vripbahamas.com. So you can follow us for updates and see the traffic management plans and such. And so we thank you. We thank you for your continued support. And thank you, Dwight, for having me on the radio.
Yes, thank you for being here this morning. I know it's been a lot of pressure.
Yes.
But thank you for the update.
Yes.
And we got to hold you to it. You say January, so by the middle of January, we're hoping this is all done. But you're saying hopefully the first week in January.
Correct, for the blacktop.
Yeah.
And in my line of work, I know that there will be rocks thrown. But I always tell persons, if you want to throw a rock at me, make sure let me know first. I have use of those rocks. I have a lot of use for rocks.
All right, I'll run some of that. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
I know you're going to be busy, but Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Same to you.
and wishing you a wonderful 2023.
Yes, glory to God.
All right. We're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Paper in Grand Bahama is back every Tuesday as a section of the Nassau Guardian. Available at local stores, gas stations, pharmacies, Western Bakery, and Bellevue Gifts. Daily and, of course, on Tuesdays, too. Want to reach your Grand Bahama audience? Then call Barefoot Marketing at 827-4578 or message them for ad rates via their Facebook page. Advertising opportunities now include classified ads, too. Keep up with all the latest Grand Bahama news in the Guardian newspaper every Tuesday.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Helping out each other, family and everybody. It's a simple act of kindness with you, me, and RBC.
This Christmas, let's spread some good together with RBC. Share your acts of kindness stories on RBC's Caribbean Facebook and Instagram pages, and a registered charity of your choice could be selected to receive a donation from RBC because it feels good to do good.
Showing acts of kindness, RBC.
The holidays are a time for reflection on the year past, reconnecting with family and friends, and indulging in brand new experiences. No matter what your holiday may bring, at REB, we want to remind you to do it together. Play together, watch together, be together. Take time this Christmas to connect with the people and things that really matter. And let REB take care of home for the holidays. Merry Christmas, Bahamas!
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Crowdfunding platform Arawak X has renewed its call for a Whistleblower Act, along with the strengthening of the regulatory power of the Securities Commission and the Central Bank of the Bahamas. Chief Technology Officer DRC Ramming Jr. and co-founder of Arawak X saying in a statement that with the reputational hit the country has taken amid the fall of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, there's a, quote, perception that our regulators are under too much influence from powerful people. The company said in that statement that the Whistleblower Act should be modeled after whistleblower legislation in the U.S. in order to help prevent things like the collapse of FTX ever happening in the country again. You can read more about the comments in today's Guardian Business section. Domestic private sector activity measured by mortgage commitments fell in the third quarter for a second consecutive year. That's according to new data from the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The subdued activity in the third quarter is in contrast to the robust growth in mortgage commitments in the first and second quarters of this year, which saw a combined 212 new commitments with a value of more than $52 million. In the quarterly economic review, the Central Bank noting that on the domestic side, total mortgage disbursement for new construction and repairs, as reported by banks, insurance companies, and the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, reduced by 2.8%, or $0.6 million, to $21.1 million, following a 3% decrease in the previous year. Residential disbursements declined by 0.8% to $21.1 million, a reversal from a 1.1% increase in 2021. The country's dormant accounts fund is currently at $88 million, according to the governor of the central bank, John Roll, telling Guardian Business that after the legislation that governs dormant accounts was changed in 2018, the government received an initial transfer of $36.7 million. He explained that to date, $47.4 million has been transferred to the government since amendments were made to the Banks and Trust Companies Regulation Act and the Central Bank of the Bahamas Act to allow the money in dormant accounts to be moved to the Treasury. The government has received sums of money from the dormant accounts fund since the legislation was amended. Each year afterwards, roughly about $3.5 million to $4 million has been transferred to the government. Cable Bahamas Limited revealing in a statement that the company will pay a dividend of 0.06 cents per ordinary share by the end of the year. This is the first time in a number of years the company's declared a dividend payout for ordinary shareholders. And citing an uptick in demand for the Bahamas, Delta Airlines announcing the full resumption of airport operations at Lynden Pindling International Airport and the need to take on 56 new hires. Tourism officials have said forward bookings for the first quarter of 2023 are already 16% ahead of 2019's historic levels. In response to growth in the demand for travel in the market, Delta is resuming full management of its airport operations in Nassau, hiring 56 positions that will perform airport customer service functions, including customer check-in, gate duties, and ramp operations. The positions include industry-leading compensation and benefits, we're told, as well as travel perks with the airline, which is ranked 6th best employer in the world by Forbes. Overseas, the European Central Bank slowing its record pace of interest rate hikes only slightly today, joining the U.S. Federal Reserve and other central banks around the world in reinforcing an inflation crackdown while glimpsing headway against the high prices that are plaguing consumers. The ECB, Bank of England, and Swiss National Bank dialed back to half-point increases from 3/4 today, as did the Fed a day earlier, in the blitz of central bank action this week. The global campaign against soaring consumer prices has slowed somewhat as inflation has made small declines from painfully high levels, but officials are underlining that inflation is not yet corralled from decade highs and that more rate hikes are coming to wrestle down price hikes for energy, food, and housing that are ravaging people's finances. The U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell similarly warned that there's a long way to go to control U.S. inflation. The comments taking a bite from the stock market as investors hoping to reprieve from sharply higher borrowing costs got a message from central banks: not today. And Americans have apparently cut back on retail spending, or did at least last month, as the holiday shopping season began with high prices and rising interest rates, forcing families, particularly lower income families, to make harder decisions about what they buy. Retail sales fell 0.6% from October to November after a sharp 1.3% rise the previous month. Sales fell at furniture, electronics, and home and garden stores, according to figures released today. Consumer spending has been resilient ever since inflation first spiked almost 18 months ago, but the capacity of Americans to continue spending in a period of high inflation may be beginning to ebb. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday, your market movers: Kalina Holdings moving 240 shares, closing at 853 unchanged. The BISX All-Share Index closed at 2,637.23, down 0.05. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And Laverne, that's going to do it for us today for Morning Blend Business. Hope you have a great day, and as we are just days away now from the big day. So I'm wishing you the best, and we're going to talk again next week. Yep, did we lose? Okay. Anyway, that's it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.